starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
Yeah, baby, yeah. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're watching now. How you doing? I'm Mr. Finn, and welcome to tonight's podcast, broadcast, however you want to call it. Today, I want to talk to you guys, as you saw in the title, about the effects of time and aging. How does that affect us? How does it affect us emotionally? How does it affect us physically? If you guys want to join the chat, feel free to jump on in. I put a link in the live chat. We can have a discussion, conversation. If not, I'm just going to talk about things that I think are not only interesting, but are good to reflect on. And why would I choose this topic? Well, this week is my birthday, right? At the end of the week. And I'm turning another year older. And I think it's this time, right, when we get to our birthdays, I think we reflect a little bit more on time and aging, especially when you're getting older. Check the chat. I see Marty's in the car. Hey, Marty, good to see you, buddy. Please drive safely. So, so it's going to be my birthday this week. I'm going to turn 43 years young. And I say that because I actually feel quite young for my age. I actually think I look pretty good for my age. But my body has it's another story. My body is actually, I think, older than my age. I think there's three ways we can actually kind of clock or mark our age. We have our biological age. We have I think you could say our emotional or spiritual age. And we have our chronological age, right? So chronologically, I am 43. And then biologically, I think I'm much older. I think I'm closer to 60. And then spiritually, I'm like 20. Oh, I have a wonderful guest on today. What a nice surprise. I'm going to introduce to you my doctor, Dr. Hava. He is an orthopedic surgeon, and he specializes in regenerative medicine. And he's been helping me when it comes to longevity. So I'm going to bring him on now. And wow, I might just go to interview him and then get back to my topic later. What a nice surprise. Dr. Hava.
Yeah.
How are you doing, my friend? You look good. You look good. You look good. Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Are you work? Yeah, no problem. It's a great pleasure to have you because my topic tonight is your area of work. It's your area. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but you are a practicing orthopedic surgeon, right?
Yes.
So you focus on the bones, particularly the hip and knees. Am I correct?
Yes, particularly in hips.
Hips, right. But you also have a private practice where you focus on longevity, right?
Yes.
So that's perfect.
And happy birthday, mister.
Yeah, thank you. It's
I'm
in
very
2
happy
days.
that you are in good shape.
Yeah, it's in 2 days. It's in 2 days. I'm not in as good of shape as I used to be, but with your help, right? With your help and some of my other friends and my discipline, hopefully I could get back into the shape that I used to be in, if not better. And I'm going to share a little bit tonight. I have some old pictures I found of myself when I was younger, when I was a rock climber, when I met my wife. I was in really good shape.
Yeah.
So yeah, my wife is joining us tonight in the chat.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Hava, tell us a little bit about longevity and the importance of it and how we can achieve it on our own or with some help.
I think that today the most important for achieve longevity is to have a nice life. I don't know how to say a smooth life. You need to have a good sleep, practice exercise, and eat a, good food.
Like whole food, right? Like whole
Whole
food, like
food, yes.
real food.
Yes.
Okay, I wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't disagree with that at all. It's something that I've always tried to do. My biggest problem, I think you know this because you and I have known each other for a little while. My wife definitely knows this. Everyone who knows me well knows this. My biggest problem is I love to eat.
Yeah.
I love to eat. And the funny thing is I love to eat everything, healthy food, unhealthy food, everything. Someone's asking me on Instagram what I'm drinking here. I'm drinking water. I always drink water. I try to always drink water in a glass bottle. I drink this once or twice a day. This is 1.5 liters. So about 1.5 liters to 3 liters a day I drink of water.
The worst is that the industrialized food,
processed food, right?
Yeah, processed food is craving. It is vicious you to it's, and you.
It's like you could say like it gets its hooks in you, right? The seasoning and the things that they put inside of it. It's very addictive, right?
Sugar is very addictive, as most addictive than heroin.
It's more addictive than heroin. Yeah, I would say that. In America, there's a very known seasoning. I think it may have a similar name in Portuguese, but it's called monosodium glutamate.
Yeah.
And this seasoning is in many things like noodles and chips. This is why, like, for example, you can't eat just one. You eat one, and then that seasoning, it kind of catches you, and you have to have more, and you have to have more, and you have to have more. Is that correct?
Yes.
Hava, let me ask you a question. Are you afraid of getting old?
Yes, I take care about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can't stop.
To get old. I'm afraid to get sick.
Yeah. That's how I feel. I've
Not
never.
be old. Old's not the problem. The problem is you lose your lifestyle or your life quality.
Yeah, I agree. So you don't ever do this, right? You don't ever look into a mirror and see an old man, do you?
No, I don't matter about that.
Yeah. I think that's different between us men and women in general. I'm the same. Yeah. I'm the same way. And that reminds me of a live I did a couple weeks ago about beauty, how women, in general, they spend so much money on products, beauty products, plastic surgeries and stuff. And men have a natural, more of a, I don't know, we have more of a pride or a good self-esteem naturally. I couldn't agree with you more. I have never really been afraid of getting old, but what worries me is not having a good quality lifestyle. I've often told my wife, if I ever suffer an accident, and she knows this, but if I ever suffer an accident and I need like machines and stuff to keep me alive, I want her to unplug the machines, save energy. I don't want, right? I mean, but think about it, Hava. I don't want people's last memories of me to be this broken, sick vegetable of a man. I want all the good memories that I've built with my family and my friends to be what remains. So, like, if there's a chance that I could recover, okay. But if I'm just like a vegetable, then what's the point?
Today I asked to Denise, to my wife, what is the worst? Die slowly or die fast, very fast? Like, because you see today many old persons that live a long life with a low health, without health. and that's not good. Okay.
Yeah, it's not. I agree. I would rather go quickly. I'd rather go quickly.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about your statement, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, is we're actually slowly dying every day. Like every day we live is one more day closer. Like we're at the age now where we're one day closer to our demise, our death, than we are from when we came, you know? And sticking with the theme of time, that my subject, that my what I want to talk about tonight is I look at time as our most valuable commodity, right? Other than our soul, right? You know that I'm a Christian, and I think that besides our soul, which is priceless, our time is the most valuable thing, because money, for example, money comes, money goes, right? Jobs and opportunities, they come and they go. Friends come, friends go. You know, family comes, family goes. You know, everything in our life comes and goes. But time has one direction, right? It only goes. We could think about like the hourglass. Like in my thumbnail, I have the picture of time sweeping away the woman, where she's young, half of her, and the other half of her is blowing off, and she's holding an hourglass. So if you think about it, that sand is not stopping, right? So it's really important that we take care of our health, especially for people like myself, yourself, who have families, right?
Yes. And the most important to achieve these goals is avoid. Don't get sick. You must be ahead. Understand?
Yeah. I like this comment that my friend Marty says, all the money in the world cannot buy a second of time. And that's so true. That's so true. And going back to my statement, because as a Christian, right, we have souls and they're very valuable. And I think about a quote that Jesus Christ says, like, what is it worth to gain the whole world but lose your soul, right? So money, it's a tool, it's good, we need it, but it's not more important than your health. It's not more important than our time. And the funny thing is, it wasn't until I had children that I really started focusing on this more. The fact that my wife stopped working to take care of our home and take care of our children, and that I have 2 children, that the weight of the world, that I have on my shoulders to take care of all of them, it's really important that I stay as healthy as possible, as long as possible. Because I'm 43. You know some of my issues that I have. I don't think a lot of the audience knows. I don't look it, but I have arthritis in my knees. I have arthritis in my hand, my thumb. My friend Dr. Hava here discovered I have arthritis in my shoulder now. I didn't even realize it. I had shoulder surgery on my left shoulder last year. And my good friend Hava here is helping me to prevent having surgery in my right shoulder. Hava here, he's working with me on a procedure called, I had a PRP injection, right, Hava?
Yes.
Do you want to explain to everybody what that is? Because you're the doctor.
PRP?
Yes.
PRP is it's an injection that comes from our blood. We draw some blood and
join me, YouTube. Sorry, I'm talking to Instagram.
Okay. And we remove the plate, we remove the blood cells, the red blood cells, and collect on the platelets. And the platelets are very important to guide the healing of our body. So we inject the platelets in the lesions, and the lesions will heal.
Nice.
Okay?
Nice. That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good for them to know, because let me explain to everybody what happened to me. And Hava was the one that kind of identified this. See, Hava, he studied with me a couple years ago, almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And I have always been like an athlete. I've always loved sports. When I was in high school, I would play football. I played baseball, even when I was a child. When I got into my 20s, I did extreme sports. I used to go snowboarding. I used to go mountain climbing, rock climbing. I think I have a picture here. I used to go rock climbing. Yeah, look at me here when I was like 20 years old. That's me at 20 years old with my harness, my hands all white from chalk. I was climbing that rock mountain behind me. I've always been into sports and activities. I came to Brazil in 2009, and shortly after coming here, about a year or two after coming here, I just started noticing some shoulder pain in my left shoulder. And growing up in you could say an athletic home, right? My father was always into sports. My brothers, I mean, until today, like I'm not so much into professional sports now because everything's become so political, but we grew up in that atmosphere, only men's sports. And my father kind of taught us to, fight through the pain, walk it off. So I kind of ignored my shoulder pain, and I practiced everything from swimming to I was doing beach volleyball. I practiced some judo. I practiced CrossFit. I practiced, I don't know, maybe a few other things I can't remember. And I think when you and I were having classes in 2019, I was just recently doing CrossFit for a couple of months. I think I started in August, right? I started in August. Yeah. And then in November, like I went to see a doctor about my knee because it was swelling up a lot because of the CrossFit. And that's when I got the MRI and you discovered it was arthritis. And then I got the MRI for my shoulder. And I'll never forget what you said when you looked at the MRI for my shoulder. You said, Mike or Mr. Finn, your shoulder is like 10 times worse than your knee. I'm like, seriously? Like, what's wrong? And I'll never forget, you showed me the MRI and you're like, do you see this white space? Do you see this white space above your shoulder? I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's not supposed to be white. I'm like, really? And he said, yeah. I remember you said, you asked the question, where's the tendon? I'm like, what? I'm missing a tendon? So for that whole time, I was feeling shoulder pain and I was doing all these activities. I was doing all of it with a ruptured tendon in my rotary cuff, right? I couldn't believe it. And you, man, you're a saint. You knew like I didn't want to have surgery and you were trying to see if I could avoid having surgery. So we talked to two specialists, remember?
Yes.
Two of your colleagues.
Yes.
And it was so interesting because each of them independently told me the same thing. Do you remember what they said?
No, I don't remember, but I remember that you go to Trauminha. Mm-hmm. You went there.
Trauminha, for those of you guys who don't understand, it's like mini trauma hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have trauma hospital and then we have like the mini trauma hospital here. So yeah, I remember I went and saw two specialists. I went to see the specialists where Hava's talking about, Dr. Hava. And the surgeon told me, if I don't do the surgery, I'm going to lose the function of my arm. Like, because all the other tendons are going to start to rupture because all the other ones were overcompensating for the ruptured tendon.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, come on. That's not true. No way. I'm on a second opinion. So I went to see another doctor, a colleague of yours, who's supposed to be a very well-known shoulder surgeon here in the city. I didn't tell him I saw the first surgeon, and he said the same thing. He said, if I don't do the surgery, I'm going to lose function of my arm because all the other tendons are going to rupture. So I had to do the surgery, and it was crazy, man. I do not wish shoulder surgery on anybody. And you warned me. You warned me how bad it was going to be. You know?
I was reading the
The comments.
The chat are very funny here. The guy who asked if you are Batman. Batman.
Who asked me that? Someone asked if I'm
Nut
Nutshots. My buddy Nutshots. My buddy
You're a
Nutshots. All of this arthritis and injuries. Are you Batman? Well, I don't know if I'm Batman, but I don't want to I don't want to accept limitations, but I have to learn. Like I'm having to adapt. And the fact that it's my birthday this week, I thought this is a very appropriate topic to talk about because I'm going to be 43. I know Nutshots, you're the same age as me. And I know you probably feel the way I do. We don't feel old. Like I don't feel old, but my body disagrees. My body's starting to disagree with me. And when that happened, when I discovered this problem with my left shoulder and I had to have surgery, that was a big wake-up call for me, you know? And Hava was right. Hava warned me. And that's why he was trying to help me out to see if I can fix it without surgery. I remember.
Yeah.
But I remember you were trying to figure it out, but both specialists said, no, I had to do it. And it was a good thing that I did, and I'll explain why. But when I had the surgery, I couldn't move my arm for 40 days. I could only take my arm out of the sling just.
Travou. Stephen, stop.
Oh, did the internet? Oh, okay. The internet's back. Oh my gosh, Brazilian internet. You gotta love it. If anybody in the audience can't handle pain, avoid shoulder surgery at all. Take care of your shoulders. Take care of your shoulders. I can tell you, I have melted skin. I have burnt myself. I've had stitches. I've had almost every injury you could think of except being shot and breaking a bone. I've had almost every other injury. I've had car accidents. I've had motorcycle accidents. I've had stitches. I've been burnt. I've been stabbed. I've been sucker punched with brass knuckles. I've had all kinds of injuries. And I tell you, being burned is one of the worst pains, but physical therapy after shoulder surgery is bad, is really bad. And I had to do it for about 6 months, right? About 6 months. So that was a huge, huge, huge wake-up call. And I want this to be a wake-up call to anybody here watching. If you notice any joint pain that is not normal, Hava, what should they do? Leave it alone or investigate it?
No, must investigate.
Must investigate. Must investigate. And let me tell you, this goes with the story. So when I had the surgery, the doctor who performed the surgery, he almost couldn't attach the tendon because it was so many years that the tendon. My gosh, the internet. Are we back? Okay, so I remember you even warned me, like if you don't do the surgery, what happened to the tendon, it will turn into fat and it'll be impossible to reattach, right? So when the doctor reattached the tendon, it was really difficult. And then when he was in my shoulder, he had noticed that the bicep tendon was starting to tear. So he had to fix that too. So it was really good I did that surgery. And that was a huge wake-up call. So what happened with my right shoulder? When the doctor gave me the okay to start going back to the gym, I went back to the gym. I wanted to get back into shape. You guys don't know, Mr. Finn used to be a pretty strong dude. Like I used to lift weights since I was like 15 years old. I played football. I remember when I was about 16, I bench pressed 225 pounds, right? It was awesome. I was strong and I loved it. But most of my adult life, I've been an accordion, you know, fat and thin and fat and thin, fat and thin, fat. So I'm trying to fix that now. So when the doctor, oh, yeah, I have pictures here. Check this out. Look at me. This is me when I first met Mrs. Finn. I was strong.
No,
Yeah,
the other guy.
that's Mr. Finn in 2000. When was it, huh? 2014. So what's that? That's 7 years ago, right? 6 years ago. It's a whole nother guy. I know. I was big. I was strong. I used to lift weights, play. Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about. How time is cruel. And if you don't take care of yourself, time beats you up. And it's so quick. Like nowadays, I went to an endocrinologist and I have my in-body exam here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you it's hard to tell. I'm gonna show Instagram here. Look, in-body exam. You guys, if you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing the show. I'm telling Instagram. But I'm 40% body fat. 40%. You can't really tell because I'm very well distributed, even though I kind of have a double chin. Yeah. So this is really a wake-up call. So when the doctor gave me the permission, right? The doctor did the surgery, Dr. Andre. When he gave me the permission to go to the gym, I went back to the gym. And I was being very careful. I took the lessons for the physical therapist. I was being very careful, and I was focusing on the shoulders, right? I wanted to strengthen my shoulders again. And you know what's funny, Hava, is that's when I started to notice just a little pain in my shoulder, my right shoulder. But it was very, very little. So I didn't pay attention to it, right? I didn't pay attention to it at all. And then my brothers and I, since about December, we were doing a push-up campaign. Right? Every day we would do like 50 push-ups and we would record a video and send it to each other. I think I showed you the videos before. Remember? We were doing push-ups.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah. And then in March, I joined a campaign called 31 DTM. That's 31 Days to Masculinity, with different challenges every day to just try to become the best man possible, the best man that you can be possible. Right? And in that campaign, we were supposed to do 100 push-ups a day. And I was doing it fine. I was doing great. I did 4 sets of 25. It was great. And then it felt so good after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks of doing it. I increased it to 200 push-ups a day. 200 push-ups a day. But it was feeling good, man. I was feeling strong. Like, yeah, monster push-ups. Yeah. And then in the campaign, they changed it to 200 a day. And I didn't know that it was going to happen. And then about 2 days after the campaign changed it to 200 a day, so about 4 days after I was doing 200 a day, that's when I started feeling my shoulder was not feeling right. You know, it wasn't feeling so good. So what did I do? I went immediately to the surgeon who did the surgery. I said, hey, let's check this out. And he said, yeah, it's suspicious. Let's do an MRI. As soon as I left the doctor's office, I called you. If you remember, I called you because I know that you do this preventive regenerative medicine. And even before I got the results, I was asking if you were practicing, and you said yes, right? Because everything with this COVID, and you said yes. And then I came in, I got the MRI. You saw it, and then you noticed that this shoulder's starting to grow lesions, right? Do you remember how it looked?
Lesion?
Yeah, the lesion on my shoulder.
Yes, it's not it's an inflammation. It's not hurt yet.
Okay, it's not hurt yet.
Yeah, it's an
So
inflammation.
I caught it early.
What?
So I caught it early, right?
Yes,
To catch it.
yeah.
I caught it early.
Yes.
Yeah, good. So I caught it early, and Hava performed the first injection on Saturday. And Hava, you tricked me, man. You tricked me. You tricked me. You said I'm gonna feel good like immediately.
No.
Meu amigo. I'm not feeling good until
I told
today.
you feel pain for 2 days.
Yeah, okay. You told me that after.
After
You told me that.
After-
You told me.
after
You told me that.
injection, you have pain for 2 days.
Yeah, you told me that after. Before though, you're saying, "Oh man, you're gonna get the injection and you're gonna feel better. You're gonna feel better like right away. You're gonna feel better." Dude, my friend, man, guys, it wasn't painful. Like I'm gonna try to describe this injection. I have the bruise. Look, you can see a bruise. Look, Hava. Look at that bruise. You see the bruise?
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Hava here. Let's see Instagram. Can you see that Instagram? You can see the bruise. If you want to see the doctor who did this to me, check out on YouTube right now. All right. So I'm talking Instagram here. Okay, so Dr. Hava here. He injected me 4 different times in the same hole.
Yes.
In the same hole. Check it out. So he took my blood, 6 vials of blood.
All right. 40 milliliters, 40 milliliters.
Hold on. But let me get the dramatic. Let me get that dramatic like emotion.
There, I think there are 6 liters.
All right. Well, he took 6 vials of blood, 6 vials, but it sounds more when I say 6 vials. Come on, let me be more dramatic. So it took 6 vials of blood, and then he processed it, right, to separate the platelets and stuff, and then to prepare the injection. I tell you what, I wasn't prepared for what he did to me. He gave me Novocaine. He gave me anesthetics. I was like, "Oh, thank you. I'm not going to feel anything." I was like, "Hava, why am I feeling it?" He's like, I didn't do the muscle." Now tell me, Hava, where did you put the 4 injections? Under, over, in the muscle?
I put it in the muscle, over the tendon, inside in the tendon, and in the joint.
So in the muscle, under the muscle, above the muscle,
and
in the joint.
In the joint.
Like in the joint, like in the space between the bones.
Yes. Where the movement, the movement happens. Here, the joint. The internet stops again.
Man, why is the internet? I've never had such bad internet before. My wife, look at my wife in the comment. I couldn't lift my arm. I couldn't lift my arm for 2 days. The 3rd day, right, Tuesday, I was able to get it halfway up. Today I'm
Mr. Finn, we are not. The internet stops, completely stop.
Oh, we're back. Hava, you hear me? Oh my gosh, I've never had so many problems with the internet before. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Oh man. Well, anyways, yeah. So I couldn't move my arm. It felt like I had the surgery because I remember when I had the surgery, I couldn't move my arm. Like I had no muscle, I had no strength in the muscle. It was the weirdest feeling.
Oh, but you are a recovery guy.
Yeah, recovered. Now I'm just waiting to do the physical therapy.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So Hava, I mean, I think you're the best advocate that can tell anybody here because I know Marty's my age. I don't know how old Matt is, but we have some young people, to be honest. Jonathan's pretty young, but I'm telling you guys, don't do what I did. Don't like, if you're feeling joint pain or something, don't just like forget about it. You know, you got to investigate it.
Yes. It's very prudent to investigate.
It's prudent. It's important, especially when you want to deal with longevity. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm all concerned about that right now because I'm obese. Didn't realize it. I'm obese. I had shoulder surgery. I had this situation. I have arthritis. I need to take care of that. So who knows what the future holds for me? And my kids are young. You know, my son's 4, my daughter's 2, and I want to make sure that I'm in good shape when they're older. Right? When they're older, my kid starts playing sports. When my kid starts doing martial arts, I want to roll around with him. You know, I want to practice with him. I want to be I don't want to be like those old men who just sits around and, you know, watches TV and tells my kid what to do. You know, I want to have a good life with my kids, both of them. Right? So it's really important, I think, to focus on having longevity, working on longevity. My wife came in here. She's thinking that the bad internet's her fault. I don't see why it's her fault. I'm connected to the internet with a wire. She left the chat. See if it stops. Anyways, so yeah, I'm not scared of getting old either. I'm just scared of, when I was younger, I was scared of growing old alone, but now I've got a family. So now my worry is staying healthy, having quality of life. I think that's the most important. Yeah, Ava?
Yeah. Don't worry, mister. You have a long life.
I hope so, man. I think my wife would appreciate that too. I think she wants me to have a long life also. I want to have a long life. You know? Everyone's here in the chat calling me Batman. I prefer your analogy. Calling me Iron Man. That's better. Put on the... Or I always considered myself like Wolverine, you know, because I've never broken a bone. I've never broken a bone in my body. And every time I got sick or something or stabbed or stitches, I always heal really quickly. Always. Like, I remember one time I had stitches. Let me see which side of my face. Right here. I had a cyst removed in my face here, right? And when the doctor stitched me up, he told me to go back to the hospital within about 10 days to remove the stitches. And I did. But the problem was that the skin had overgrown, like consumed the stitches. So the doctor had to cut my skin to remove the stitches. So that's what I mean. So I always consider myself like Wolverine more than Batman or Iron Man, like indestructible.
Yeah,
you know?
you have the superpowers.
Yeah.
In the end of your videos, you heard a boom.
Damn. Yeah. Well, that's my energy going out. Matt here's asking about my sleeping habits. That's a really interesting question, Matt. Getting enough rest is really important, especially if you're exercising and working out. I have enough experience in weightlifting to know the value of getting an appropriate amount of quality sleep, because when you're lifting weights, you're breaking the muscle down and you need to sleep and rest to recover and let that muscle build back. Now, unfortunately, I am, and my wife knows this, but I consider myself like I'm a machine. Like, and I know it's not good. And I know the doctor here is going to give me a hard time too, but I don't know if he sleeps more, you know, but I sleep maybe 5 hours a night, 6 if I'm lucky, sometimes 4. I actually have to put a timer on my phone at 10 p.m. to warn me. Actually, on my phone, there's a timer that says wrap up and go to and read. Because hey, Marty, see you later, buddy. It's good to I'm glad that you made it, man. Anyways, but I actually put this alarm on my phone because I get so wrapped up in my work, whether it be preparing classes, whether it be correcting something, whether it be creating content. I'm either creating content like for classes or editing videos. I get so wrapped up in it. Any one of you who's productive knows what I'm talking about. I know my wife here, she's guilty of sin, just like I am. You get so wrapped up in what you're doing that you don't want to stop. And that happens to me. And I end up going to bed after midnight and I wake up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So I don't often get a lot of quantity of sleep, but 98% of my sleep is quality. Like my wife will tell you, I pass out. I have a clear conscience. I'm like a machine. I turn off. I'm on sleep mode. And I'm out. Anywhere. Daytime, nighttime, anywhere. I'll go to sleep. I just fall asleep. But 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock, my alarm set, I'm up. I'll get up. And sometimes it's hard for me to get up, but discipline gets me up because I want to exercise. Because the first part of my day is I like to do things for myself, right? Iron Mustang. Yeah, that's my that's my call sign. Anyway, so yeah, sleeping is very important. Dr. Hava, how much sleep do you get, buddy? Because you're a doctor. If I'm not mistaken, you have or you're working on your PhD, yeah?
Yes.
You're working on it or you have it?
I try to sleep at least 8 hours per night.
Okay, you try to sleep, but that's not the same as how much you get, okay? I try to sleep 8 hours a night too. It never happens. So
yeah, but I sleep 8 hours, maybe it's 7.5, but 5 hours is not good, guy.
I know it's not good. I try to do more, but I got too many things, man. I got too many things to do.
You are stressed.
No, actually, I'm not. I should be. I have a lot to stress about, but I'm actually not. You can ask my wife if I'm stressed. I'm not. And I got tons of things to stress about. Like I lose students. I don't have guarantee of getting new students, but you know, I mean, I work hard. I work well. If it happens, it does. It doesn't. I have crazy kids. I have a crazy wife. I'm going to be honest. I got a crazy wife. I got a crazy objective of like, I don't know if people understand, and you know what it's like as a teacher, but there's so much work in being a teacher that people don't realize behind the scenes. Like giving a class is actually like a break for me. Giving a class is very enjoyable for me. It's pleasurable because I interact. You and I, when we used to have classes, it was very fun. We talked and, you know, talked about interesting things, and it was a break for me. But all the preparation that I had to do before the classes work, you know, researching, preparing, organizing. Like even tonight, like I feel bad for my wife. She went to the dentist today and I told her I was going to buy her some soup, but I got so busy like taking notes, researching stuff, taking notes for tonight, what I'm going to talk about, because to be successful, everything takes work. And I'm growing as a YouTuber, so it takes a lot of work to edit videos, to record videos. I don't post enough on Instagram. Sorry, guys on Instagram. Sorry for not paying attention, but I'm trying. So I have a lot to stress about. I'm trying to make a move to America, the consulate, COVID. I mean, there's so many things. How am I going to pay the bills? I'm trying to sell my apartment. I'm renting a house. I mean, I'm hemorrhaging money with no guarantee of money coming in. So I got tons of things that I could stress about, and I forgot my wife's soup. She's reminding me. But I don't stress. You know when I stress? Do you know when I stress?
Yeah,
it's when she stresses me out. That's when I stress. Okay, that's when it's time to say goodnight. Marty wants to know if you keep me awake all night. No, I keep her awake all night. I'm too big. I'm hot. I snore. And she is the opposite of me. And sometimes I want hanky panky. But she's a light sleeper. She's a light sleeper, and I'm a deep sleeper. So no, it's the opposite. I keep her awake. In fact, sometimes she kicks me out of bed, and I say, "Oh hell no, you go." Bye, babe. She's gonna leave now.
Matty is asking you if you are moving to the California.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to Calming, California to start, only because that's where I have support. That's where I have family. but that's not where I plan on staying. Where I'm going to stay, only God knows. Right? Yeah, Mr. Finn likes hanky panky time. Of course, man. Any heterosexual man does, right? But let's keep this kind of PG. Let's keep it PG. I think there's kids on Hava's side of the,
Yes, they are moving around.
There are kids there. There are kids there. I miss his daughters. Anyways, so I have lots of things to stress about, but there's not a lot that I stress about. And let me ask you something, Hava. Is stress by itself a bad thing?
Stress is the worst thing that is the worst. It's the worst thing that can happen to a person.
Okay.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's a great disturb to the body.
But let me ask you something. But let me ask you something. Is stress by itself a bad thing, or is it how we handle stress a bad thing? Do you understand my question?
Yes. Both are bad.
Both are bad. Okay, but would you consider that there's such a thing as good stress?
Good stress?
Yeah, like would you consider, because I was thinking a lot about this and I was making notes and I've read some things to kind of back up what I was saying, because I do think that there's some studies that talk about this, that there's some kinds of stresses that are good for us, that kind of break down our cells, that cause our bodies to rebuild the cells to be stronger, like breaking down your muscles when you work out to re-strengthen them stronger. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, you are talking about exercise.
Like mental exercise.
What kind of stress? But the mental stress, the rush that we live all days, that is very bad for our body. Understand? It's disturb our hormonal secretions. Secretions. Yeah. It's very bad, very bad. It's stress can guide you to become obese.
Yeah, like what happened to me, right?
Yeah, I understand. It's very bad thing.
Now take a look at this. I kind of made a list. Of things that I would consider could.
Yeah, sauna. There's a good mat. Sauna is a good stress. Yes.
I love sauna. But take a look here. I made a list of some things that I consider that could be kind of good stress. Those of you watching on Instagram, if you want to check out that list, make sure that you go to my YouTube channel. Okay, so this is here some things that I put as could be as like good stress, like receiving a promotion or a raise at work, right? Starting a new job, you're nervous, right? The marriage, you're going to get married, buying a house, having a child, moving. It's stressful.
Yes.
Right? Taking a vacation, making sure you catch the plane, right? Making sure the reservations are set, making sure you have enough money in your budget, right? The holiday seasons, Christmas time, making sure you have enough money to buy gifts for people. Things like that. Retiring. I don't know about that. I never plan on retiring. Taking educational classes, learning a new hobby. When I was thinking about this, to me, these are things that could be considered good stresses. Would you agree?
These are good emotions.
Good emotions, but they do kind of stress sometimes because you get that nervousness, right? You're going to have that first date or something. It's kind of stressful. Maybe you have a deadline and you got to get it done. So it kind of forces you to get it done. But I think some of these, I have a list of bad stresses. Like if you lose a loved one, like your wife or your husband dies, a death of a spouse is a bad stress. Right? Filing for divorce, right? Ending a relationship that's like that. Losing contact with loved ones, the death of a family member, hospitalization, right? Like, let's say you have to take care of someone with a chronic illness. You're responsible for taking care of that person. Imagine how much stress that will be. How about being abused or neglected? All right. Separation from a spouse. That's kind of with the divorce. Conflict, interpersonal relationships, bankruptcy, right? You lose your money. Money problems, unemployment. So these are the kind of things I put together that would be totally considered bad stress. And then here, I kind of put some stresses like work and employment concerns that are here that can cause distress, right? Excessive job demands. That can be bad on your body, right?
Yes.
Job insecurity, like I have. I have total job insecurity. All right. Inadequate authority necessary to carry out tasks. Now, that's my job. I'm the authority in my family, so it's my job to delegate the tasks. Right? Unproductive, time consumption. I think these are things that can really cause you. And I think the ones in the third column here, depending on how you take that stress, kind of can depend on how your body reacts, right? I often told people tension on your body, right? It's like tension on a rope, right? When you pull a rope so tight, like a guitar string, right? Has anybody ever tuned a guitar before? So when you tune a guitar, you put tension on the string. And it's good because that's how you play music, right? But the more tension you put, the more it can break. We have another guest on, Damasio. Let's welcome Damasio on the show. Hey, Damasio.
Hi, thank you very, very much.
How you doing, man? Welcome.
Thank you.
We're talking about age. We're talking about time. We're talking about longevity in life. Damasio, how old are you, man? How old are you? Oh, okay. I guess he's camera shy. Maybe he's not very confident in his English. Yeah, he's a banker here I made friends with in Brazil. I would be curious to ask him how his job is. You know, is it stressful to be as a banker? Like you, Hava, is your job very stressful as a surgeon?
Yes.
Explain.
It is stressful. When? Every time I perform a surgery.
Every time you perform a surgery.
Yes.
How so?
Why? It is stressful. You guy, the patients can have a bad evolution. Understand? I perform surgery in old people.
Yeah.
This week I performed a surgery in a woman who is 98 years old.
98 years old?
98 years old. She's like a crystal.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
Yeah, she's like a crystal. Anything can disturb. She's her health again.
Right. Yeah, man. Isn't it very delicate?
Very fragile.
Fragile. Isn't it very risky to perform a surgery on a person that old, and you would only perform that surgery if it's like life or death?
Yes, but it was an emergency.
It was emergency, huh?
Yeah.
I remember when we were having classes together that you were an active surgeon at Traumia, and you would often perform surgeries on people who suffered injuries.
Yes.
Right?
Many motorcycle injuries.
Many motorcycle injuries. We have another person coming in. Oh, Darman. Let's invite Darman to the stream. Darman. Welcome to the stream, Darman.
Hello.
How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Tell me, how old are you?
English is my second language.
That's wonderful. Where are you from?
Vermont.
Vermont, huh? Well, at least you live in the United States and you have a lot of practice, huh?
Yes,
Yeah, good. My guest Hava here, English is his second language as well.
it is my second language.
What's your first language?
English is my second language.
Okay, so what is your first language?
English is my second language, not my
I
first.
got-
Not my first language. It's my
I
second.
understand. I understand that. My question is, what is your first language?
Bolivian.
Bolivian. So Spanish.
No, Bolivian dialect.
There's a different dialect in Bolivia than Spanish.
I think Libyan.
Is it Libyan, like Libya?
Yeah.
Bolivia.
Oh, no, Hava. He's saying Bolivia.
Bolivia.
Yeah, I thought they spoke Spanish in Bolivia. I
We
might be
can see
mistaken.
her
My town.
his face.
In my town.
In your town. Oh, all right. How old are you? Okay, he left. That was weird. At least, yeah. I mean, that's okay. I'm gonna give everybody a chance, especially if they're learning English, right? My channel is for English people. I thought they spoke Spanish in Bolivia.
Yeah, in Bolivia they talk Spanish.
Yeah, I mean, every South American country except Brazil is Spanish.
Yeah.
You have different dialects, in each country, right? Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay. He was starting to make me confused. Like,
I understand that he is from Libya.
yeah, no. He showed his face a little
And,
bit.
and his name is not a Spanish name.
No, I know. That was weird. Well, I gave him a chance. Yeah, Matt says the same thing. They do speak Spanish. I mean, dude, I'm in South America. Hava's from South America. Every country in South America is Spanish speaking except Brazil. Crazy, right? In North America, you have Spanish, English, and French, right? French Canadians. So go figure, right? That was weird. Oh, well, gave him a chance. I'll give everybody a chance. Hopefully they don't do anything crazy. I want to keep this video archived on my channel. Anyways, so look, let's get back to this idea of stress, right? And like longevity. Like what, Hava, let me ask you, like, what are some things that causes aging? I found a picture here. That I think breaks down to 4 basic things that cause aging, right? Ultraviolet light. So that's why it's important that we put sunblock on our skin. Different toxins that we get, right? Different toxins that we get from foods and our environments, right? Like pollution.
Yeah.
Lack of hydration, right? This is why people should drink lots of water. Would you agree?
Agree. Perfect.
Lack of collagen in the skin, but that comes with age. How can you like repair collagen?
Repair collagen. Drink water. The lack of collagen is not a cause; it's a consequence.
Oh, it's a consequence. So I'm glad I have a doctor on tonight. Yeah, I mean, I'm no doctor, and I don't want anybody to take anything I say like as gold. When I come here on my live shows, this is very opinionated. Like I'm here to share my opinion, talk about things that I find interesting. And I often tell people I'm no specialist, I'm no guru. And I'm glad that you decided to jump on because you focus on longevity. So other than these things, right? Like UV light, toxins from
Toxins. We eat a lot of toxins in the foods.
Yeah, we eat a lot of toxins. We breathe a lot of toxins, right? In the air, in the environment.
Yes. But the fruits had a lot of toxins. Some time ago, I was crazy how to clean my fruits.
Right?
To remove
Because of the pesticides and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend on WhatsApp right now. He's another doctor. I think you may know him. He's Dr. Walter. He's an anesthesiologist. I'm telling him to join the live stream because he'd be really good too to talk to about this. He gave me a list. He gave me a list of 10 things that are secrets to a long and happy life. Okay, those of you who are paying attention on Instagram, pay attention to this. I'm not going to save the Instagram. I'm going to save on YouTube. But he says here, number 1, sleep well. Well, I think I sleep well. I just don't sleep enough. Number 2, eat enough. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to actually eat less, and I'm trying to eat when I feel satisfied. I have a problem where I just eat. I get pleasure out of eating, What else does he say here? Work as needed. That's true. I enjoy work too. I probably do work more than I should. I think people call me a workaholic. But you know what? That's something about you doctors too. You doctors work crazy hours, man. You guys are on call at the hospital for like 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
Have to be awake. You go to sleep, you have to wake up, something happens.
Yeah, you sometimes there are guys that sleep with the phone under the pillow.
Yeah. He says he can't come on. He's on duty right now. Excellent. He's a good guy, man. He used to be a student of mine too. I miss the guy. He's a great guy. Great guy. Anyways, so that was number 3, right? He says work is needed. He says number 4, hug your friends. I'm a big hugger, but we can't hug each other now, right? COVID, whatever. I'll hug you anyways. But hug your friends. Love a lot. Okay. Live every day. That's true. Time is valuable. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. That's number 6, he says. Number 7, he says, don't waste. Number 8, he says, help whenever possible. That's good. Number 9, he says, be happy and make people happy. And that's interesting. I haven't talked about that yet. Maybe I have. I don't remember. But that's a topic that I find I have talked about it before on one of my live streams. Happiness is more of a choice, more of a decision than a feeling. And that's a good one. And the number 10, he says, pray every night. Yeah, I like that list. Dr. Walter.
Yes, I appreciate
that list. Yeah, I like that list. That's a good list. I appreciate it too. And I like the input from doctors. Because you guys study like crazy to know what you know and do what you do. Right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Tell me.
I don't know. I prefer to study than see a TV show sometimes. It's a pleasure for me. It's not crazy. It's a pleasure.
To study?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I could understand that because I do like to read about and study things that I enjoy, but just to study for the heck of studying because I have to, I don't have the patience to study. I do like to read. Like I study my Bible. I'm reading Jack Donovan's new book.
You study a lot of Bible.
I do. Yeah, I do. I study
Bible.
my
You study the Bible.
Yeah, I do. I do study my Bible. It's right here. It's always close. It's right here. It's underneath my papers because I was studying earlier. But I read that. It's right here. It's actually, I got a lot of pages highlighted here. Got that here. I've been reading this book, but I'm not studying it, but I'm reading it. It's Fire in the Dark, written by Jack Donovan. Really good book. I still prefer his other book, The Way of Men, better, but I'm just not far into this new one. So I can understand studying for pleasure. I'm not a big study person. Someone on Instagram wants me to repeat that list. Let me repeat that list one more time. The list was number 1, sleep well. Number 2, eat enough. Number 3, work as needed. Number 4, hug your friends. Number 5, love a lot. 6, live every day. Number 7, don't waste. Number 8, help whenever possible. 9, be happy, make people happy. And number 10, pray every night. I'm going to post this in the chat of the live chat here on WhatsApp or on YouTube and Facebook. And maybe later I might post it on Instagram stories. But I think that's a good list. Let me put it here on the chat. Yeah, eat enough. Eat enough. And I think what Hava said is important. Eat real food. Eat real food, whole food. Okay, there's the list there. That's the list that my doctor friend, Dr. Walter, sent. Yeah, so let's eat enough of the right stuff. Eat right portions. Eat whole foods. Eat clean foods. Eat foods that are not MGOs, right? But it's hard to find nowadays, right, Hava? Do you know what an MGO is, right? No,
And they're very expensive.
no, GMOs, not MGOs, GMOs.
Yeah. And the health food is very expensive.
Very expensive. And you know what's funny? What I see what's happening nowadays as far as society and as far as the health of people, it's kind of like engineered. You know, it reminds me a lot of time, like what's happening now is reminding me a lot of like the heyday of the Roman Empire before the collapse, right? When the barbarians came. Because the population, the mob, the Caesar, right? Caesar had to keep the mob happy or they would revolt. Like what's happening in America right now, right? You know, you don't do what the mob wants. They're going to riot and burn your city down. So they feed them bread and give them circus. You have cheap entertainment and cheap food. You know, so fast food is very cheap. You go to McDonald's, KFC, Taco Bell, 99-cent menu. I remember I used to eat Top Ramen. Top Ramen in English, Hava, is a mioju. I would eat Top Ramen like all the time. Mioju.
See?
The mioju, guys, in Portuguese is Top Ramen in English. I used to eat
ramen.
that all. Yeah, Top Ramen. Ramen noodles. I used to eat that all the time, but that's not healthy for you.
No,
You know? I
Junk
know
food.
it's junk food, especially the seasoning on it. So I'm much better now. I think here in Brazil, we have more access to real food that's cheaper than in America. America, we have real food, but it's very expensive. And I think it's very hard to find food that's not a GMO, you know, GMO foods, genetically modified organisms, right? Hava, let me ask you a question. When it comes to aging, in general, obviously, I'm not going to speak in specifics, but in general, who do you think ages better, men or women? I have my theory, but who do you think ages better, men or women?
The woman suffers a lot with aging because they had a menopause.
That's
They
my
have
theory.
It's like it's like to fall falling down from a hill. Yeah, the man's goes down slowly and the woman's fall.
Oh, that's
Yes,
classic.
true.
That's great.
It's very
Sudden.
suddenly. Yeah,
No, suddenly, no. It's very sudden. It's very sudden. Yeah, I agree. You know, I look at, and I say this because I look at examples in my life. I look at my father, I look at my mother. My father is damn charming at 68, 69 years old. Blue eyes, white beard. He's got some wrinkles around the eyes. And I blame Hava. I blame my broken body. And this is something we didn't talk about as far as aging, but I blame the frailty of my body, the way it's affecting me now on my father, on genetics. Because my father, he's got a lot of issues too in his body. And he played sports as well, like I did. So I don't think we helped it that much, right? With the wear and tear. But I look at him, he looks great as an old man. My mom, she's a beautiful woman, but you know, she's kind of, you look at her pictures when she was young, man, my mom was a fox. She was very attractive. You look at my father-in-law, right? My wife's husband, he looks good for his age. You look at my mother-in-law, you know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and you know what's interesting too? I think a lot a lot of it has to do with your personality as well, because you don't have to be that attractive physically, but if you have an attractive personality, you look better. Someone on Instagram says, I think women, I beg to differ, women. And look, come on YouTube right now. I'm going to show you some pictures. Do you guys remember the movie Top Gun? Do you guys remember this couple here?
Yeah.
You remember Top Gun?
Yes.
1986. Long time ago. Some people watching weren't even born at that time, right? 1986. Right? Now, do you know what these people look like nowadays?
Yeah, I saw these pictures. Yeah.
Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, Tom Cruise, he doesn't look that much different. He's got some wrinkles on the face. His jaw's a little bigger, a little more square. But look at the woman, poor thing.
Yeah.
Poor thing, right? Everybody likes to show Friends. Friends was a huge show in America at the end of the 90s and the beginning of 2000. People don't realize that Friends is over 20 years old. Friends started in 2000 and ended in 2010, right? We're in 2020. So you're looking at 10 to 20 years. Look at Friends then and look at Friends now. You know? Look at Matt Chandler, right? Look at Joey. There, it's big difference.
No, they are in good shape yet.
There's still, but there's a big difference. And the guy, and I think the guy, but you know what too? They've got money. They've got money. I mean, I showed you pictures of myself when I was younger. Look at me now. I still think I look pretty good for my age. I'm laughing at a comment Dr. Walter gave on WhatsApp here. He says the biggest problem for women in aging is called, what do you think he says? It's one word. It has to do with your hill analogy.
What kind?
What's the biggest problem with women in aging is called, I'm going to put it in the chat. This is not me. This is my friend, Dr. Walter. The biggest problem for women in aging.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called gravity. Yeah, it's funny. And you know what's interesting too? I was going to read an article tonight, and maybe I might do it after you get off, or maybe I won't get to it tonight. But I was going to read an article about biological clocks, right? Because we have a biological clock, men and women. But for women, it's more precious. Would you agree, Hava, that a woman's biological clock is more precious than a man's biological clock? Like if a man still has a strong libido, if a man can still have an erection, he could still bear children, correct?
Yeah.
But a woman, what would you say? What would you say is the smart cutting off age for a woman to have children?
I think that 38, 30, 36.
I was thinking 35,
yeah.
35, 36,
35.
because after that they can have children, but there are complications, right?
Yes.
So let me ask you, why, if they have a biological clock, in their early, I don't know about early 30s. Matt says early 30s. I don't know about early 30s because my wife, she's 33 now. Yeah, so she had our daughter when she was 31, and we're not planning on having more children. So maybe, but I'm guessing about 35. Hava says 35 to 38. They can still have children into their 40s, but they're running a risk, right?
Yeah, the risks are raising.
What are some of the complications? Like they could have the babies can have Down syndrome, right?
Yes, the baby can have a Down syndrome. There is a high pressure, high blood pressure. There are many problems.
So if there are many problems for women to have babies in their mid-30s, tell me something. Why does society push careers on women? Why do they say don't get married, don't have a family, focus on your career? That's going to take like most of your youth to achieve. And then when it's time to have a family, you can't have one anymore
Yeah.
safely. So where's the logic? And why tell me, Hava, why do these young girls buy into this lie?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a personal decision from the woman.
Look, someone on Instagram says that in Europe, and I want your opinion on this because we're in Brazil. I have people in America watching, so this is like an international live stream. But Hava, and I have a doctor on right now on YouTube. So if you guys want to talk and ask questions to a doctor, join us. But there's a person on Instagram says that in Europe, women at 40 years of age can have babies without any trouble.
Yes, but it is risky.
Naturally, okay, he says yes, but it's risky. Now, naturally, or do they need some kind of supplements? Do they need some kind of medication? Do they need some kind of do they need assistance from a hospital, or do they need assistance from a doctor to make sure that the pregnancy is healthy?
No, all the pregnancy must be a doctor.
Yeah. Okay, every pregnancy. Okay, I agree.
Yeah.
Should be accompanied by a doctor.
Yes.
Okay, I agree. But a person in their 40s, because I have a hard time believing that they have no trouble. She says this. I don't know if it's a he or she, and I'm sorry, forgive me. But the person says in Europe, women at 40 years can have babies without any trouble.
No.
Without any trouble? Like, I have a hard time believing without any trouble.
Yes. No. It is possible to have a baby in the 40s, but there is a high risk. The risk is higher than 30s and 50s in 20s.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, Alfredo here put in a comment that I think this is the secret to my longevity, and this is the secret to why at 43 years old, I look, excuse me for my lack of humility at the moment, pretty damn good.
Yes.
And I'm going to correct his English here, so don't get upset, Alfredo. Laughter, not laugh, because laugh is a verb. Laughter is one of the best medicines that gives you a healthy life. I think that is really, 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 really good. Wouldn't you agree, Hava?
I agree. Perfect.
I agree, because think about it. When you're laughing, you're not stressed. When you're laughing, you're not worried. When you're laughing, your spirits are high. You know, you think about what's going on in the world. You think about the situation with the pandemic and what's happening here. And this could be controversial, and luckily I'm a small channel, so I don't think I'm going to get kicked off, and I'm not monetized anyway, so they can't demonetize me. But I think what societies are doing to combat COVID is counterproductive. It's counterproductive. I'm a fan of history. We said to myself, I love to study the Bible. I love history. Like I have remember Hava, the Jefferson, the biography of Jefferson I was reading. I love history. Never in history, and this, check it out on Instagram too, never in history has society quarantined healthy people. Ever. You quarantine the people that are sick. You quarantine the people that are at risk. Okay, I agree with that. But to quarantine everything, to lock down everything is not good. And tell me, what is safer? To be outdoors in the sun, in the wind, or locked inside in a confined space with recycling air? You know? So I think with the media, social media, mainstream media, and the news, and all the stress and the fear mongering and the death and COVID and people afraid and people stressed and people are not working out. People are not going to the gym because the gyms are closed, and people sitting on the couch and watching Netflix all day because they're not working, and people eating potato chips, Doritos, pizza, hamburgers, getting fat, obese. How is their body going to fight off infection, disease, illnesses? How is it going to be strong enough if they get the coronavirus. I tell you, I don't know. I had coronavirus. Maybe because I'm kind of healthy. I didn't get too bad. I don't know. But do you understand what I'm saying?
You can add to your list of stressors to be confined.
To be confined. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I have and too bad those of you guys on Instagram aren't paying attention to YouTube, because I'm going to add here to what my friend Dr. Walter has talking about when it comes to women and pregnancies. I'm going to share his comment in the chat, but I'll read it for those of you on Instagram. What he said is, biologically speaking, and these are doctors speaking, from a biological point of view, the best time for a woman to have children is between 18 and 30 years old. After the age of 30, the reproductive capacity slowly begins to decline due to aging and the loss of the reserve of eggs stored in the ovary since in uterine life. And that's true. And I remember this from biology class. Men, we continue to produce sperm, right? Our testicles, like we're a sperm producing factory, right? As long as we have a good testosterone level, high libido, we're always creating, right, Dr. Hava?
Yes.
But women, they're born with a specific amount of eggs.
Yes.
Like my daughter, 2 years old, all the eggs that she'll ever have, that she'll bleed out when she menstruates, are in her ovaries right now as a baby. She's not a baby, as a toddler, right?
Yes.
Your twin daughters.
Yes.
They're 10 years old?
10.
10 years old. They're born with the number, a fixed number of eggs. So
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna read a comment here on Instagram. My 90-year-old grandfather got COVID, and honestly, he didn't get that bad because he was active during the pandemic. Thank you, Sophie. Sophia, that's an old student of mine on Instagram. That's the thing. I mean, look, COVID, like everybody's biology is different. Everybody's different. So I don't want you to take unnecessary risks. But I think when it comes down to what we're saying is we have to live healthy lives, right, Dr. Hava? Healthy, happy lives. The healthier you are, the more like prepared you are to fight off infection, to fight off illness, any kind of illness. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So I think that I think one of the worst things that is happening during this pandemic is not necessarily the virus itself. And don't misunderstand me. It is a real virus. I know people who've suffered from it, but I don't want to take away from those who have suffered from the virus. But I think what is more severe than the virus, and this is my opinion, I'm not a doctor, it's the hysteria. Like hysteria spreads like wildfire, and people, they get caught up in fear. I got a little bit in the beginning, but as more data came out, I started to get less afraid of it. I started, after having it myself, I'm not going to stop living my life.
The fear is terrible.
I think you could go ahead.
Some people are completely crazy. They are with the alcohol, putting alcohol in everything.
Everything. I see it like crazy. It's just like, and these people, like, it's so funny, right? Like you go to a restaurant, you go to a place, and you can't walk into the door without a mask on. But I'm gonna take it off when I sit down. So what's the point? Like COVID is only at this level here. Like if I sit down, COVID doesn't hit me. Or like many places that have a curfew at night, or like restaurants, you have to close at 6 or 10 or 8 p.m. You have to close. Why? Because COVID recognizes curfew. Like some of these things, and it's crazy, right? What does Alfredo say here? Media tries every second to manipulate and deceive on behalf of their own interests. Well, of course. Well, if you think about it, the media right now, they're on the left. They're working on the same agenda as the globalists, as the ones who are concentrating power. Like, what people don't realize, and I don't have the data here because I wasn't preparing for this conversation, but in this last year, the rich have only gotten richer. The rich have gotten richer. Jeff Bezos and Amazon and Mark Zucker and Facebook and all these places have gotten richer, and the poor have gotten poorer. So we're seeing a huge divide in class, and the media is just a tool. Let's see what Ati says in Italy. Now there's more chance of contagion because in the past the people didn't travel same like now. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hold on. Hava, put down your value. Because in the past people didn't travel same like now. Yeah. Thank you, Hava. So yeah, that's true. But still, there's a thing called herd immunity. I know Scotland didn't close down and they were fine. My rant 321. Yeah, I could get on those rants. But I lost Hava. What a pity. Hava was a great guest. Oh, what a shame. That's all right. If you are in a closed environment, there's more chance of infection. I know. That's the point. That's why I don't understand why here in Brazil they close the beaches. Like, seriously? Why are you closing the beaches? It's wide open space, wind blowing. The UV from the sun will kill these things, right? We talked about how UV is. Vitamin D is important. And if anybody, let me give a promotion here. If you're not taking vitamin D, I'm taking vitamin D. I do 5 drops a day. It's really important for your health. But it doesn't make sense. I think I told you, I shared before an argument that I had. One day I was buying eggs. And I was standing in line, and me and another guy weren't wearing a mask. And some SJW was like, "Oh, you should be wearing, you don't care about other people." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "Oh, you and that other guy aren't wearing a mask." I said, "Well, I don't need to wear a mask. I'm outside. You don't have to care about other people." I'm like, "What are you talking about? We're spaced. There's, social distancing. Keep your distance if you're afraid." It's nuts, man. Mask Nazis everywhere. Yes, sun, vitamin D. They will never promote that. Just like the hydroxychloroquine. I want to be careful just in case one day I do get monetized. They wouldn't promote that either. Why? Because the president talked about it. But that has a history of helping with viruses, right? Malaria and stuff. Zinc's important. Yeah, all that stuff. You're right, man. Hava, Mr. Fancy, I appreciate your live. Nah, Hava, thank you, bro. I wish you could have said goodbye to everybody, but it was great to have you. Thank you very much for being on with me. It was very much appreciative. I think that you brought a lot of insight to the conversation as far as longevity, right? And great practice with your English, man. Good job. Yeah. Thanks to Dr. Hava. Dr. Hava is the man. Follow him. He has a YouTube channel. He has Facebook. Hava, if you're still on, why don't you put your links? Or I'll try to do it later. I'll try to find your links and I'll put them in the description after the video. But give Hava your love. And anybody in the João Pessoa area who's watching the live where I live, João Pessoa, in the northeast of Brazil, if you suffer from joint pain and if you don't want to have surgery, contact Dr. Hava. He is an orthopedic surgeon, but he specializes in joint therapy to help you avoid surgery. That's what I'm doing. And it's not covered by insurance because it's new medicine, right? He went actually to American, and he went to American. He went to America to study it. It's a medicine that was developed in Denver, Colorado. Look who's on. My mom. Hi, Mom. Good. I'm glad you made it. Guys, welcome my mom, Clara Gorton. Anyways, but if you guys are in this area and if you suffer from joint pain, first, Anybody watching, not just who lives in this area, if you're suffering from joint pain, don't hesitate. Take my advice. You could worsen it. I spent many years practicing sports, doing many things with a busted tendon in my shoulder. And I worsened it by not looking into it. And then I had to have severe surgery and then even more severe recovery. Man, it was the worst. 7 months of pain and hard work, but I did it. And I learned a lesson. So now I have pain in my right arm, my right shoulder. I'm taking care of it now so I can avoid surgery because I never want to have shoulder surgery again. Oh my God. Nor knee surgery. Let me give an example here. I don't want to shame him. I love him, my uncle. Nice guy. But what a sissy. And I tell him that in his face. I'm a big believer in not talking bad behind people's back, especially if they're not around to defend themselves. But I've said this to his face. A big crybaby. He had knee replacement surgery. And he's not doing what he's supposed to do as far as physical therapy. He cries like, it hurts. And the physical therapist, stop. And I tell him, bite the pain. You gotta dive into that pain. It's part of recovery. I know it doesn't feel like it. And the physical therapist, they know what they're doing. They know how far they can go. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. It's so important. If you don't do it, you're not going to get better. I'll give you another example. Like, I'm not afraid of pain. Like, don't think I don't want to do shoulder surgery because I'm afraid of the pain. No. I don't want to do shoulder surgery because it puts me out of commission. And if you've noticed anything about Mr. Finn, since Mr. Finn has been active on YouTube and stuff, is I'm a doer, man. I work hard. I do a lot of things every day. And if I'm out of commission, I'm screwed. Like, how am I going to work? I'm right-handed. How am I going to write if I can't move my arm? How am I going to type? How am I going to drive? I'm going to spend a fortune on Uber. So I'm not afraid of the pain. It's not the reason why I want to avoid surgery. I don't want to be put out of commission. I can't stop. Like, I have a family I'm taking care of. I got things I'm working towards, I'm working on. So if I'm put out of commission for, I was going to say for a day, but I can survive a day. Let's say for a week. If I'm put out of commission for a week, I'm screwed. I'm screwed. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to feed my family? So that's why I'm avoiding surgery. So if you can avoid it, do it. So what I had Hava here. Hava, that was a great guest. He's about longevity. And I talked a little more than he did. I asked him questions I thought would be helpful to reinforce what I was saying. He is in the market to helping people live longer. And one of the best ways you can do it is by preventative action. Eating right, eating better, exercising, take care of yourself. And this lockdown nonsense is making people worse. It's making people worse. And I wish that people would open their eyes and stop looking at me like I don't care about people. I care about people. You're saying you don't care about people. You're going to go outside without a mask? Hell yeah, I'm going to go outside without a mask. I don't need to wear a mask. I don't breathe well with that mask on. Why am I going to recycle my carbon dioxide? Why? I'm going to breathe fresh air. Right? Okay. I'm not totally against masks. I respect the authorities. I respect the rules. I go to a place, I have to wear a mask. Fine, I wear the mask. But oftentimes I'll wait for you to tell me to put a mask on. But it's all control. It's all control. I'm sorry. It's all control, right? Let's see what my mom says. You guys are missing out the chat here. I'm sorry I'm not paying a lot of attention to you guys on Instagram. But look, this pandemic is real. I agree. But it's become so political. I agree. No one should wear a mask outside. I agree. Wearing a mask outside is nonsense. Okay? I'm not going to give you away. I'm not going to give you away, mama. What does Ati say? He says, but if there is a law, we must respect it. Here we pay 400 euros if you don't use the mask. I don't know, man. I would probably get fined and get fined and get fined. To me, to me, I understand you got to respect the rules, but rules have to be guided by morality. And I don't want to get into a theological tangent in my discussion here, but the majority of the Western world was established by Christianity, Judeo-Christian values. Most of our laws, both Europe and America, are based on those Judeo-Christian values. The Bible does tell us to respect authority, to respect the law. You can go to Romans chapter 13, and it breaks down how we as citizens are supposed to respect the law to a point. Once the law becomes tyrannical, once the government starts to abuse their power, we don't have to respect the law. So if the law says denounce Christ or you're going to be paid a fine, give me the fine. Denounce Christ or we're going to cut your head off. Bring it or fine me first. I'm not going to just give you my head. You have to fine me first. I'll disappear. But I don't want to disagree with you, Ati. Yeah, we have to respect the law to a point. But then it starts to become too tyrannical, right? I'm not going to give you away, Mom. I think she's worried about her identity, right? What does she say here? You're right. Son is good. Zinc. Yes, it's all good. What does Matt say? Accept the pain, Mr. Finn. Your mother delivered you. And here to testify. Yeah, she delivered me and 3 others. All natural. And she raised us from the age of, my father left at 8. So I was 8 years old. My youngest was 1. So she raised 4 of us alone for many years. She's a tough cookie to crack. Don't mess with my mama. Right? Mrs. Gordon. Don't mess with her. Your uncle had to be put under to bend his knee. Oh my gosh. If you don't work the knee, your knee will freeze. I know that. That's what I've talked about with physical therapy. When I had a motorcycle accident, my knee was ripped open and they had to sew my knee shut right on the kneecap. So I couldn't bend my leg. Wow. It was about a good 4 months. I couldn't bend my leg. And then when I started doing physical therapy, I'll never forget this story. I was doing physical therapy. And when the physical therapist had me laying on my belly to bend my leg, right? Bend my knee. She went to a point and it started to hurt. I was like, oh. So she stopped. I was like, okay, hold on. Take a deep breath. I was like, okay, do a little more. And she did a little more. Okay. Wait. Take a deep breath. Okay, do a little more. I would push the physical therapist. I pushed her so hard. When I rolled over the bed, my knee had reopened and the bed was like, there was a blood spot. I pushed the physical therapist too hard. When I had shoulder surgery, I was kind of doing the same thing, but the physical therapist was a little tougher. She was like, no. I know what I'm doing. So she didn't let me kind of dictate. But it's really important, man. It's so important to I know it hurts. Like I understand my uncle's pain. I know, but you have to bend it. You have to force it. I can't believe they had to put him under to bend his knee. Oh, I'm going to give him a hard time. I love you, Matthew. You got that right. I don't know. Oh, she's talking to you, Matt. Because I have a brother, Matthew, too. So sometimes she confuses us. Not by face, but by voice. When I call my mom, it's funny. She goes through the list of all her sons before she gets my name right. God bless you, Mom. Anyways, so this pandemic, it's just, I'm not saying it's not real. And there are variants. There are different variants now. Yes, that's true. Right? There are lots of different variants. But still, you eat well, take care of yourself, take the proper precautions, right? You can beat it, but you shouldn't stop living your life. Don't stop. Like I'm in favor. If you're afraid, if you want to stay at home, okay. So your work should make accommodations for you to be able to work at home. And services should be provided for you so you don't have to leave. But if you want to go out, open your business, work, go to a restaurant, what the hell? In one of my live streams, I talked about the lion. There's the no security, being free. and you can have all the security in the world, but you're in captivity. I'm sorry, man. I'd rather be free with no security. You know? At least here in Brazil, this pandemic is a good opportunity to these politics steal more money. Yeah, but Jonathan, that's everywhere. That's the same thing in America too. It's the same thing. It's exactly what's happening everywhere. Yeah, my mom, she suffers from asthma. She runs that risk. How old are you, Mom? 68? She's 68, I think. 67, 68. Has asthma. And she doesn't stop. She had 2 knee surgeries, and she freaking walked, 5 miles today? 10 miles? I mean, I think that's I come from good stock, right? My dad, he's retired, I think 10 years ago, and he still doesn't stop. He still does yard work every day. You know, so this is where I get it from, right? What does she say here? We need to be courageous. Remember what happened in pre-World War II in Germany. That's right. Well, you know what? This reminds me of a quote. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. And guess what? Hard times create strong men. I want to call roll call. Where are the strong men at? One's here. I'm doing my best. I'm leading my family. I'm trying to share with you guys my opinion and stuff, but this is what's going on. We're in hard times. So what does that do? That's going to shift. That's going to shift. Bring out the strong men. It's going to shift out the wheat and the tares, the pros from the cons. And the strong men are going to create good times again. Strong men are the ones that create order out of chaos. Look at throughout history. I love history. Read history. Pay attention. Thomas Jefferson. He was the governor of Virginia during the Revolution. Wrote the Declaration of Independence. You want to talk about hard times? You had a bunch of rebels who stood up to the greatest army in the world. Said, we're not going to take it. No taxation without representation. Read history. Strong men create order out of chaos. Strong men bring good times. And then good times, unfortunately, bring weak men. That's what we're having now. The greatest generation, World War II, baby boomers brought my generation. But there are strong men out there. They come from good stock, like the Finn boys and others. I know of others. The guys that I engage with here in the manosphere and stuff. Good men who want to make a difference. And then strong men will bring good times, and then the cycle will repeat itself on and on and on. Let's see what my sweet Sophia says. Look, the pandemic is real, but honestly have increased the suicide cases because living with those fears are extremely exhausting people. Suicide taxes increased 95% since the beginning of this all. Sophia, I couldn't disagree with you more. I know. And this goes to mental health. Of course, suicides have gone up. People who already have mental illness and don't have a will to live now with this situation have even less will. You have no contact with friends and family. You have no motivation to get out. There's no school for you to engage with other people and to do better. You just sit around at home, lost in your thoughts, get more depressed. I couldn't agree with you more. This goes back to my argument about how society has handled the pandemic. It's wrong. Tell me in history, please, tell me in history, when has society locked down healthy people? When? During the Black Plague in Europe, quarantine would have saved many Europeans, but they didn't quarantine. So the bubonic plague or the Black Plague spread across Europe and killed hundreds of thousands. But quarantine the sick and the vulnerable. Where does quarantining come from, guys? The best-selling book in history, the Holy Bible. Quarantine comes from Leviticus, the Mosaic Law. God had wrote about that, how to wash clean wounds in running water because microorganisms. We didn't learn about that until recently. So, yes, the pandemic's real. Yes, people have suffered. Both things can be right at the same time. The pandemic can be real, and the way that society has handled the pandemic is totally wrong can be correct at the same time, So don't get me wrong. Staying at home driving everyone crazy. That's why I'm not staying at home. I go out. I live my life. I've adapted. 2020 wasn't a bad year for the Finn family. It was a year where I had to adapt. I'm planning to move online anyways. So last year forced me to work online, and I'm doing fine. Good evening, Hoffa. I'm glad you made it. I hope you're still watching. Sorry, just seeing your chat right now. Claire says, this pandemic, China got us in. That one. Remember what China was? Yeah, it does. China's playing the long game. China's playing the long game. They're patient. I want all of you guys to research what's happening to men in America, the emasculine, the effeminizing of men in America, and how in China they're pushing men to be manly. Wonder why. The barbarians are at the gate, people. Barbarians are at the gate. Yes, they will. Strong men will make it through it. They will. They will, no matter what. What is up, guys? I have an English channel. Could you join? I would like to get 1,000 subs. Yeah, you could join Hoffa's channel. Hoffa's a good guy. You need views too, Hoffa. And just to let you know, I've never done that either. It's not really kind of the right thing to do that on another person's channel, but that's okay. I like you, buddy. I'll let you do it on my channel. What does Ati say here? Could you tell me or explain to me if you are me? I don't understand a thing. If you don't have a job, if you don't have government help, if you don't have money, why do you go out drinking beer? Are you talking to me? Well, I have a job. I work very hard every day. I don't depend on the government at all. The government doesn't give me a cent, even though they give the checks out to people. I think they give Ty, not my wife, a little bit. That's okay. I try to give her some money too, so she has some of her own money. But I don't get a cent. I don't ask for it. I don't need it. Even if I have the right to it, and I go back to this argument, just because a person has the right to something doesn't make it right to do it. There are people who do need the help. I understand that. And I'm not going to take money from those people, even if I have the right to that money. I earn my own money. I'm very proud of the fact that what I have, I earned myself. God has given me intelligence, ingenuity, integrity, a backbone, grit, and plus the people in his life that has helped me with all these things. I'll earn my way. So I can have a beer once in a while. And actually, I'm cutting down on beer. I haven't had a beer in like 2 weeks. I'm going to save. I'm not going to have any beer until this weekend. This weekend, I'm going to have beer. Celebrate my birthday. Yeah. Oh, baby Finn is on. How you doing? That's my baby brother. I call him a baby, even though he's in his 30s. And he's taller than me. But he's always going to look to him as baby Finn. How you doing, man? Good to see you. What does Sophia say again about the pandemic? This pandemic has been making everything even harder for me. Honestly, since the beginning, I haven't felt like myself because I can't sit in my thoughts without them killing me slowly. That sucks. I know, Sophia. Sophia, I'm not going to disclose anything that you've shared with me in the past. I know the struggles you go through, sweetheart. If you need someone to talk to, you know you can reach out to me anytime. Okay? Please be careful. Please take care of yourself. If I found out anything has happened to you, it would break my heart. Okay? And I'm just your teacher. Imagine how it would be with your mom and your sister and stuff. So please take care. Things are loosening up in America. I know you live in a blue state. If I'm not mistaken, you're in New Jersey. So it's kind of hard because the government there is really hardcore. I will visit as soon as I can, sweetheart. Don't worry. I have plans one day to get an RV. My wife and I want to travel America in an RV. That's why I'm working so hard to build a livelihood online on the internet, so I can be mobile and be able to provide for my family at the same time. But Sophia, please take care of yourself, okay? I know the struggles you go through. I know that you suffer with mental illness. I know this is hard for you, but stay tough, okay? Stay tough. we as men, I'm going back to what Ati said about the government. We as men should not have to rely on government. We as men need to be resourceful. Look into what we can do for ourselves. I mean, I'm even open to like moving into the country and living off grid, man. Living off grid. Listen to my mom, Sophia. You know, reach out to her on Instagram. She would be a great help to you, right? My mom is a sweet, sweet woman, right? She's a good person to talk to, Sophia. And she's retired. She'll have a lot more time, kind of. She's a busy body, but she'll have a lot more time than I do to help you out. And Mom, I'll give you her contact. Maybe you could talk to her. She's a sweet girl. What does Hafa say? Okay, yeah, I'm glad you appreciate it, Hafa. But listen, Hafa, don't do that onto another channel. Okay, it's bad. It's poor etiquette. You don't go on another channel and promote your channel. You go on another channel and you make yourself curious. Let me give you some tips, Hafa. You want your channel to grow. I understand that. I still want my channel to grow. But the way you do it is you engage and you make yourself interesting and you get people to look into you. That's how you do it. You don't go out there and kind of beg like you're doing. The way you did it, it's kind of like you're begging, please, please come to my channel. Please. Nah. Be careful. All right. I can maybe give you some tips on that. And like I said, I don't know everything. I'm still growing, but one, that's poor etiquette. So you don't do that to another channel. I don't mind. I like you. And I don't mind helping, but don't do that. And then two, it doesn't look good on you. Does that make sense? You want people to discover you. You want people to find you organically. And that's how you're going to develop a base audience. So like I said, I don't know much yet. I'm still growing. What else you say here? Well, faith in God is everything. God says through the prophet Isaiah in the book of Isaiah, I know the end from the beginning. If you look at the word history is his story. He knows everything. He nothing. And this could get into a very deep theological conversation, which I can maybe do another night. But this gets into this argument of the doctrine of the elect, the chosen, right? Of predestination, right? Because God is all knowing. There's no rogue molecule in God's creation. Nothing is out of his control. Nothing. He even uses sin to show his glory. So in times like this, we have to look to God. But what's sad is people only look to God in hard times, and people forget about God in good times. And the Bible says, and sorry, I shouldn't say the Bible says without quoting the Bible itself, but like I said, I wasn't prepared for this talk, but do all things unto the Lord. If what you're doing is unto the Lord, you're giving glory to God, you're praising God. Have faith in God. You know what? That's probably one of the main reasons why I don't stress. And if you remember early in the live stream, I went over a huge list of things that I could be stressed, that that can stress me out. But I'm not stressed. I don't live a stressed life. And mainly is because my rock is Christ. You know, I know he's going to take care of me. I know that he knows what's going to happen to me in the future. I mean, I'm not one of those kinds of people who just sits there and wants blessings to fall in my lap. No, I'm going to do what I got to do every day. But I understand that God is guiding me through the Holy Spirit, because there's a thing called providence. There's one thing that's interesting. And like I said, I'm quoting the Bible. Like I'm paraphrasing what the Bible says without actually going to the verse, but I know it's in the Bible because I've read it. He says that these false prophets, these false gods, they can tell you things in the past. Like you go to a fortune teller, they can tell you things in the past, but can they tell you why it happened? And God says that rhetorically because he can tell you why it happened, because everything is orchestrated for his glory. So yes, have faith in God. In the pandemic, in sickness, in health, in good times and bad times. Don't worry, man. You don't need to worry. I don't worry. I should maybe. I lost a couple of students this week, you know. One of them, he's having hard times and he had to cut back. So I understand, you know. It makes my life a little tougher, but whatever. They come and they go. I'm going to keep going forward, right? I got the first dose of the vaccine, taking care of myself. I got a lot of great things to tell you. Okay, good. I'm not a huge fan of the jab. If you're a healthy young person, I don't think it's necessary, but I'm not going to say don't do it, right? But good. Just stay safe, sweetheart, okay? You know you got my support, all right? No matter what. All right, sweetheart, no matter what. That goes for anybody. I'm a busy guy, but if any of you ever need to reach out, you know, maybe always on Instagram is where I engage more kind of privately, right? One-on-one. I'm very opinionated, like my mom here. And I do like to read and I do know things, right? Life has given me a lot of experiences, but I don't know everything. But life has given me perspective where if you need some help, maybe I can help you. So just make sure you check me out on Instagram and I will communicate with you guys there if you need anybody to talk to. What does my mom say about faith? Faith is the hitching post of life. That is correct. God has always been there in all wars and calamities. God gave us free will. Humans are despicable. That's why we need God. Yeah, God gave us free will, but this gets into a theology of Calvinism and free will. What is free will if our will is sin, right? The Bible says we're dead in our sin. We're dead. You know, our will is to sin. You know, it says in Timothy that we need the Holy Spirit to regenerate us, that redemption, that repentance comes from the Holy Spirit. And yeah, this is a whole theological topic I can get into one day. This stuff I find, I love it. I love talking about studying. I don't like to study, but I do love to study my Bible. I love to read it. We do have free will, but our will is to sin. We do not choose God. Don't fool yourselves, anybody. Christ himself says, my sheep will hear my voice. So that's why we're called to proclaim the gospel to all the nations, to all living creatures. We don't know who are Christ's sheep, but they don't know that they're Christ's sheep unless they hear his voice, you know? And this is, like I said, this goes down a whole rabbit hole of a theology. You know, theology is simple enough that a child understands it, but it's complex enough where theologians have been studying it for years. And I don't claim to know it all, but I do feel strong in what it is that I believe in. Oh, Vanuska. I love the way you talk to everybody, Mike. I'm enjoying the live a lot. Congrats, my friend. Hey, Vanuska, join me anytime you'd like. I left the link in the chat. If you want to join me, feel free to join me. Anybody. What does Rafa say here? I always like to hear you. Thanks for your advice. Tamo junto. Tamo junto. That's Portuguese for like, we're in it together. Yeah, you got it, Rafa. Just be careful, man. Don't do that on another live stream. It's low class. It's kind of begging, okay? And I don't recommend it, right? Sophia says, I have high risk to get the virus. So okay, all right. I don't know. I think you're anemic, right? You're very skinny for your age. But you can take care of yourself and get out of that high risk too. But that's okay. I'm not going to shame you for taking the virus, for taking the vaccine. That's okay. I don't want it. I don't want my children to take it. They're healthy kids. My wife, she's open to taking it, but she doesn't want to take it, but she's willing to take it. I don't want it. What is he? Are you at 5 Point Calvinist, man? Kind of. I mean, I can't say like I'm a hardcore Calvinist, but the more that I've studied scriptures, and I have never read Calvinism, but the more I study scripture, the more it makes sense. I mean, if you look at the two camps of Arminianism and Calvinism, Calvinism makes more sense than because Arminianism is like universalism in a way. And I mean, like I said, this is a topic we could get into a whole other time. I'm in a group of risks that's why I had to take it. It can go really, really bad if I get the virus. Yeah, no, sweetheart, take care of yourself. Like I said, I'm not going to shame you. take care of yourself. Whatever you have to do, take care of yourself. I want your well-being to be paramount. All right. You know that. Okay. You know, I care about your well-being. So that's okay. Okay. You help very in my English. Thank you. No, Adriano, prazer, cara. Grande prazer. Se você quer mais ajuda, entra em contato comigo, né? Instagram, English with Mr. Finn. Sorry, guys, you got a little bit of my Portuguese there. Mas para meus brasileiros, lá no audiência, quem fala português, gente, me siga, vai lá no Instagram, entre em contato comigo, entra nesses lives, come live with me, practice makes perfect, right? Anyways, I'm gonna get back to you guys' chats here. What is Opa, I want to see this here. Did Brazil give out prescriptions of no, not really. I think it was the second one. I don't remember the medicine that I took, the name of it. I wish my doctors were still on. I would ask them the questions. I can't really tell you that. I'd rather my doctors answer that question. I'll try to find out. I'll let you know. It's been so successful, typo. Yet many refuse to prescribe it. I'm not going to say that word because YouTube doesn't like it. It has been around 50 years. Yeah, I know. This vaccine's been pushed really hard. I saw an ad that they were offering $100 bond for young people to get the vaccine. Like, you're trying to bribe people to get the vaccine? Like, what does that tell you in your like optimism? Seriously? It's so new and yet people run to it. I have asthma and age. I still don't want to take the vaccine. Yeah, I know. You and Dad. My father also doesn't want to take it. He's at risk. I don't want to take it either. I'm healthy. Look, seriously, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. Like, I think people confuse me for being an anti-vaxxer because I don't want to do it. I don't like medicine anyways. Okay. I don't like drugs. Like, I'm taking this here. It's not an anti-inflammatory, but it's a pain medicine because I had this procedure on my shoulder and severe headaches. So worst comes to worst, I'll take something like this. But I don't like shots. I don't even take the flu vaccine. Tell me something. The flu kills people, but all of a sudden the flu has disappeared, right? The flu vaccine has been around for 50 years. There's a new flu shot every year and people still die from the flu. So what the heck, And this is being pushed. Like, just something about what's going on doesn't sit right with me. I'm a person that likes patterns in life. I pay attention to things around me. I've lived in many places. I've interacted with many kinds of people, and I start to see that the dots don't connect. Something's not making sense. Something doesn't feel right. So I'm cool. I'm a healthy guy. Look, like I said, I had my in-body thing because I'm checking out my health, right? I had 2 blood exams, and every doctor who checks me out, they're shocked. I'm obese. I'm shocked about that. I'm 40% body fat, 39%. Look at that, 39.3% body fat. Shocked. I'm just distributed very well. But my blood is great. I have low cholesterol. My thyroids are good. Everything about me is healthy. Everything else about me is healthy, except I'm overweight. So why am I going to inject myself with something? My body already kicked that virus's ass. And guess what? If I get it again, my body will kick its ass again. Bam! Oh, man. Oh, thanks, Cicero. Thanks, bro. Yeah, he's one of my new students. I love my classes with him. He's one of the students. He's one of the students where I got to be careful because him and I will talk forever. And I never want to exploit my students. My students are pretty successful people and I don't want to exploit them. And sometimes I got to nip it in the bud. We got to get focused on what we're doing because we'll talk. And, I charge by the hour and sometimes I'll round off the hour just because I had just as much fun. Man, you're the best. Thanks, buddy. Thanks a lot. He's one of my good students. One of the good students. Oh, my mom's worried about too much information. No, I'm not giving too much information. There's no too much details. My number's not out there. Don't worry, Mom. Poor thing. Thanks, man. I learned Portuguese here. I learned Portuguese living in Brazil and being forced to learn it. Right? So you can learn English the same way. You need exposure, you need practice. It's good to have a teacher. It's not necessary. I don't want to talk down on my profession, right? I mean, a teacher's really good. A teacher's like a guide, right? We'll show you how to get there, what to do. But on my YouTube channel, my trailer video, I talk about the 3 keys of learning a language. First, you got to want it. Right? If you don't want to learn the language, if you don't want to learn anything, you're not going to learn it. If you don't want anything, like you yourself wanting it, no one's going to give you that want. So first, you got to want it. Second, you've got to dedicate yourself, whether that be in classes, or personally, right? Like you immerse yourself in the language nowadays with the World Wide Web, YouTube, Netflix. You can surround yourself with the whole environment of English or whatever language you want to learn and immerse yourself in it and absorb as much as you can. And then the third key is you've got to try. You've got to try. And too many people, and I say this in that video, too many people are afraid of making mistakes. And they forget that making mistakes is part of the process. You know, think about in life, how many mistakes have you made that you learned from? Like my mom's on the live chat here. She can tell you, my brothers and I, we didn't listen to probably anything she said. And we suffered the consequences and we learned a lesson. Man, my mom, I'm going to kind of expose her here. She was tough as nails. I'm not going to expose her. She's paranoid, but tough as nails. And I remember growing up, she warned us if we did anything criminal and if she found out about it, she would call the cops. Well, one of my brothers, I'm not going to name him, one of my brothers, he was busted for, it wasn't armed robbery. It was an accessory to armed robbery. A friend of his was robbing people and he was holding on to the goods. And the police caught them. And when they brought them home, my mom said, take them away. It broke her heart. I know it did, but she warned us. My mom was never a person of empty words, man. I think I got that from her because I don't give empty promises either, but she said, take him away. And he spent, I don't know. Do you remember, Mom? 1 month, 3 months in jail, something like that. 2 months in jail, juvenile hall. Yeah, I think he learned his lesson. So in life, when you make mistakes, you learn a lesson. Same thing with languages. People are perfectionists. People are afraid of making mistakes. Look, when you're learning a language, and this is why I opened this up if you want to join. When you're learning a language, first, communication is the most important thing. Communication, making sure you're communicating is more important. And then the more you communicate, then you can start working on your fluency and pronunciation. There's my doctor friend. He's back chiming in. Man, get off duty and join me on the video. He says here, Dr. Walter, he says, and he got this from Mr. Finn, I'm sure of it. He says, making mistakes is part of the process. Keep going, keep walking. That's it. That's what you got to do. My mom, hey, Sophia, my mom's talking to you. Get your immune system up. Take vitamin, take D3. Yeah, that's what I'm taking. That's what I got here. Vitamin D3. Is it D3? Yeah, it's D3. Take D3, take zinc, sunlight, lots of vitamins, exercise, vitamin C. Get your exercise. Sophia, you can lift weights. You're skinny, but you need to eat well too. And lift weights, not to gain bulk, but to tighten up your muscle mass, all right? I always show my students this video, the top 3. Thanks, found this guy. I appreciate it. Thanks. 3 tips. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. What does she say? Oh, 10 days only. When he got home, I was tougher. Yeah. Okay, so he was in juvenile hall. I thought it was longer. I thought he was locked up for a month. But I guess when you're kids, everything seems bigger, right? So it's just 10 days. I knew you would remember. Yeah, but she sent him away. I'll never forget that. I remember the helicopter. Shining the light on the street. Yeah, I'll never forget that. Adriano, What is the hot dog best of Brazil? Or oh no, the Brazilian hot dogs are better than American. That's for sure. Brazilian hot dogs are better. But I do prefer American pizza and I do prefer American hamburgers. But there are, for the last probably 5 years, 4 years now, there are good hamburger places now, artisanal hamburgers. But when I first came to Brazil, hamburgers were horrible, horrible. Little discs of meat, full of everything. She's tudo. It's like you put everything on there. It's like, oh, that's good. Yeah, it wasn't good. Nowadays, though, you got some really good hamburgers. But the pizzas are better in America. Here in Brazil, you have more toppings on pizza, but it's exaggerated. Most of the pizza here in Brazil is undercooked, and you don't put enough marinara sauce, tomato sauce on the pizza, where I like more marinara sauce. But the Brazilian hot dogs are way better. For those of you in America who don't know Brazilian hot dogs, look them up on the internet. It's a hot dog, and you got ground beef, and you got corn and peas and a quail egg and some like pico de gallo kind of salsa on it. It's really good. Some Parmesan cheese. It's much more flavorful than the American hot dogs. American hot dogs are just a wiener. Congratulations, my friend. It's amazing to see you listening again. Yeah, man. I'm talking to Dr. Walter here on WhatsApp, man. I miss you too, Walter. Don't be a stranger, man. Reach out, buddy. Come back when you're ready. No pressure, but come back, man. And listen to the message that I sent you earlier today about this this Saturday. If you can make it, I'd really appreciate your presence, okay? So hopefully you're listening to me, and I'll talk to you later, buddy. It's a good guy, man. When I leave Brazil, one of the things I'm going to miss the most are going to be the friendships that I've made. I have made some quality friends here, man. And it's funny because my profession has provided me quality people who, even after they've left my classroom, have remained friends. And, I can literally count on them, even though like we haven't talked in a long time. I can literally count on them when I need them. It's amazing. I've never had friends in America like I do here in Brazil. And when I go back one day, when I go back one day, the thing I'm going to miss the most are going to be the friendships that I've made. That's for sure. Yeah, man. Woo! He says he'll hope to see me Saturday. I don't want to be too loud. It's 11:30. I don't wake up my kids. I get too excited. I got two little kids at home sleeping. Sophia, what does Sophia say here? So I was able to lift 10 pounds in a month when I was inpatient because of eating disorder. I remember you telling me about the eating disorder. I got there with 100 pounds and I got out of there with 114 and a half pounds. Now I'm 120. Good, sweetheart. Good. Keep gaining that weight and try to find, look, you should do some things. Look what I did. I made myself some concrete dumbbells. I'm not going to pick it up with my right arm because my right arm is under treatment right now. Look, ingenuity. I made here, this is a 20-pound concrete dumbbell. It's about 10 kilos. That's actually 9.5 kilos. So it's about 21 pounds, this dumbbell. I made two of them. And right now I'm making another pair. I'm making 5-kilo dumbbells. So they're going to be about 10 pounds. They're going to be half the size of this. So you can be make things at home, do things at home, get elastic bands. You could go to the, I should be using my right arm. I shouldn't be using my right arm. You can go to the hardware store, go to Home Depot, get some bricks, get some cinder blocks, put them in bags, use some water bottles, get the 1 gallon water bottles and lift those up. You can use those for weights too. Because I know you're in New Jersey and things are hard in New Jersey, but you have to be creative. Be creative and use ingenuity. I'm getting confused with my words. And look up on the internet, look up on Instagram. There's channels, look on some pages. You can get a good, nice workout plan. Okay. Take care of yourself. It's really important, right? The helicopter was only when he was 7 and went to friends. Oh, that's when the helicopter came. Okay. That's when we thought he was lost, huh? All right. Takes a mother. Does it say it takes a mother to get it straight? It does. Like I said, when you're kids, all the stories kind of mix up, but I remember those things. Anyways, so look, talking about Sophia and her health, mental health, physical health, and this goes to everybody, right? My objective today is talking about time, the effects of time. Time is cruel, and time doesn't wait for anybody. And life, as bad as things are in the world nowadays, life is a beautiful thing. We have people around us that care for us, and we care for them. And there's puppy dogs and flowers and butterflies and oceans and sunsets and forests and sunrises. There's lots of things to enjoy in this life, but if you don't live a healthy life, if you don't prevent damage, if you don't prevent illness, then you're going to look for trouble down the road, right? I will. I know. I'll give you a big old Mr. Finn bear hug. Rawr! Sweetheart. Such a sweet girl you are. What does Cecil say? If you want to learn a language, it's important to the student to have fun and don't miss the excitement. That is 100% correct. And that's what I try to bring in my classes. I try not to speak too highly of how I teach because it would be very arrogant, but that is correct. I do believe that we as humans learn more when we are having fun, when we don't even realize that we're learning. And my job, I see my responsibility as a teacher is to get the student engaged and to ask questions and to figure things out. Like I'm not the type of person, I'm not the type of teacher that's going to give you an answer. But I try to make it fun. And that's totally what's the right idea. So you got to understand, like the way I teach it doesn't suit everybody. A teacher-student relationship, it's got to be very symbiotic. It's got to be symbiotic, and it's important because I've had many classes where these classes were just, oh my gosh, so hard, and it drained all my energy because I invested so much energy to keep the class going, and by the end of the class, I'm dead. And I had other classes, and I'm talking about groups, not just one-on-one, but I had other classes where the class was amazing, and I fed them, they fed me, right? Energy. And man, just left the class like the time flew. And talking one-on-one, like my student Cicero, he's one of my one-on-one students. Him and we get together, man. Time flies. We talk about interesting things. I bring something interesting for us to read. And next thing you know, crap, 2 hours have flown by. And then I have other students, I'm not going to say any names, but oh my gosh, it's like, I got to give a class. I have to. And I do that because it's just, I know I'm gonna have to invest so much energy in the class, and I do it, and we have fun, and the student has fun, but I feel tired at the end because I gave more than I got. Does that make sense? So he's right. It's really important. You don't need a teacher to learn a language. It's good. It's important. It helps you. It's like you don't need a map to get where you're going if you know north, south, east, and west. But if you have a map, you're going to get there faster. So having a teacher is kind of the same thing, right? What does my mom say? Straight. Thanks to the internet, you will be able to keep all your friends. Yeah, I will. And you know what's funny, Mom? That's one of my motivations on why I created my YouTube channel, because it's like immortalizing who I am now at this time of my life, where I have 2 young children, and they're going to grow up and they can see what their dad was like when they were babies. You can see my videos from 2 years ago when Victoria was just born and I had a beard. There was a video. I think the video was present, the simple past. I made a video about the simple past, and I talked about Victoria. She's just 2 months in that video. So, internet's a blessing, but still, Mom, you can understand. We're far apart. The internet doesn't serve all things. We don't have that connection. Like I'm calling some friends out this Saturday, just some friends, to hang out, have a beer. I didn't invite my buddy Cicero here, but he's diabetic and he's a high risk for COVID, and he's going to stay at home. But when he feels better, him and I have got plans to hang out, drink a couple of beers. And I'm cutting down on the beers too, because I'm focused on getting my weight under control. I can't do that. Medically clear for anything related to exercise. Okay, no problem. Okay, I understand. Do what you can do medically, but there's nothing wrong with walking around, right? That's kind of exercise. What I'm saying is don't be stationary. Like one of the worst things about my job is I sit here for hours at a time every day working. either giving classes, producing content, working. I have a nice easy chair in the corner there where if at the end of the day I'll get a book and I'll read. But that's why I wake up as early as I do, because I try to start my day with some kind of physical activities. I'll walk around, I'll go out, I'll walk around, I'll come home. I'll do, since I can't work with my arms right now because of my shoulder, I'll do squats. I'll pick up the dumbbell I made. I'll hold it. I'll do what's called goblet squats. I'll do lunges. I'll do jump squats. So I'll do things like that in my morning exercises. And it's important. It's really, 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 really important to be active. Okay. Victoria, the moon. What about the moon? I don't know what you mean, Valuska, about the moon. Let's look at things with Jesus's eyes. Yeah, what would Jesus do, right? Makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense, buddy. That's my buddy Walter again. I miss Walter. He was one of those great students I used to have a great time with. I miss the guy. He disappeared because his father was sick. I hope his father's doing well. He hasn't given me an update on his father. What does my mom say here? Yes, looking at life through the eyes. Yes, that's right. Yeah, he loves the world. That's why. What does it say? It says in Romans 5:10, for God demonstrated his love for us, for he sent his son to die. No, while we were sinners, his son died for us. While we were enemies of God, he died for us. Right? Instagram says, how are you feeling about your birthday? I'm cool about my birthday. I don't dread it. I don't dread getting older. But that's what kind of provoked this topic for today, right? I think when we get older, especially when you start getting into your 40s, like I am, you reflect a little bit more on age, on time. It's so funny how fast time flies now, like I've been in process to immigrate for a long time now. And who knows how long it's going to be, but my wife's like, oh, another year. I was like, look how fast a year goes. Guys, think about it. Look how fast 2020 went. It's like this. Sisu quotes John 3:16. That is the most famous and well-known Bible verse. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. But people forget the other verses. For God didn't send his son into the world to condemn the world, but the world's condemned already. Right? They're already condemned because if they don't believe in the son, because he's the only way to life. I'm paraphrasing the rest of it, but he didn't send his son in the world to condemn the world because the world is already condemned. Right? I'm not making you old. That's time. That's time. Hey, did you see the pictures I sent earlier? I don't know if she was on the live stream. Look at this about the difference between men. Do you guys remember this? Top Gun? That was then. This is now. Oh man. Life is cruel. Time is cruel. Look at Mr. Finn, 20 years old. Do you remember that? Do you remember that, Mom? That's your boy at 20. 20, 21. That's when I was rock climbing like all the time. I loved that. Was my buddy Jeff. We rock climbed all the time. Snowboarding in the winter, mountain bike and rock climbing throughout the rest of the year. Yeah. So, and I was always, this is when I was in shape when I met my wife. I was lifting weights strong. This was funny. I was lifting weights really hard here when I had a ruptured shoulder or ruptured tendon in my shoulder. Didn't even realize it. I was modifying my exercises, but look, I had strong shoulders, strong chest. But what happens when you stop exercising? That's the problem. People don't realize if you lift weights and you exercise, you can't really stop, because if you stop, all that body mass is just turns to flab, right? Yeah, John 3:17, John 3:18. It keeps going. He says, God sent his light in the world, but men free from the light because they love the darkness, because it hides their. Oh, I'm going to read it now. Where's my Bible? Right here. I want to read it now. It's a good verse because everybody knows John 3:16, but people don't realize the rest of the verse. And that's why it's important to read things in context. Everything should be done in context. Even though it is a solid verse by itself. But context is really important. What was it? John 3:16. Here we go. John 4. Here we go. John 3. John 3. Where am I? John 4. Here we are. John 3:16. So I'll start here. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Here we go. 17. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. Hey, I think I did a pretty good job paraphrasing that, if I do say so myself. I didn't mess it up too bad. Now go verse 18, because it keeps getting better. He who believes in him is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. Verse 19. And this is the condemnation. This is the nail here. This is the condemnation. That the light has come into the world, and that men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Verse 20. For everyone practicing evil hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his deeds should be exposed. Verse 21. But he who does the truth comes to the light, that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in God. You see, that is the rest of John 3:16. You see, he did send his Son. God doesn't want anybody to perish, but some people he did create to perish. People don't want to hear that. Talks about that in Romans 9. Think about Pharaoh. He hardened Pharaoh's heart, right? Why did he harden Pharaoh's heart? To make him look better, to make him look more glorified, to stand himself out compared to the Egyptian gods. And this gets into whole big, deep theology again. But yeah, it's good stuff. So anyways, I think I'm going to wrap this up here. I've been going on for almost 2.5 hours. I had an amazing guest. Didn't expect to have that guest. That was really awesome. I want to think, before I go, I've kind of talked about a lot of the negativity that comes from time and age. But can you think of anything good that comes out of it? Like experiences and memories? One of my favorite thinkers, my mom's favorite speakers and thinkers, Dennis Prager. He's a syndicated radio host. He's a creator of Prager University. He's the author of many books. I have a couple of his books here. Yeah, I have Think a Second Time. I have the 10 Commandments. And I have Happiness is a Serious Problem as an ebook. But what he says is, we are our memories. And that's true if you think about that. Because a person who suffers from amnesia can't remember their name, can't remember their past. Who are they today? So that's an interesting thought. So Cicero here kind of was hitting the nail on the head when I was referring to what's one of the good things that comes from age. And I was mentioning experience, trying to get an answer like this: wisdom. Now, let me ask you a question. When it comes to wisdom, where'd that go? When it comes to wisdom, I'm going to hide that. When it comes to wisdom, what, in your opinion, is more important? Wisdom or knowledge? I mean, both are pretty important, right? But which one do you think is more important? And how do you achieve either one? How do you achieve knowledge? And how do you achieve wisdom? See, these are some slides from a conversation class that I used to make about the subject about age. So what is important? What is the most important thing? Wisdom or knowledge? I mean, I don't know how many people are active now. I can give my opinion, but almost all this whole show is about my my opinion. All right, I'll share my opinion. Obviously, wisdom. Wisdom is more important because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the wisdom to know how to apply the knowledge, what good is the knowledge? You see, it goes back to the question I asked: how do you achieve each one? Well, you achieve knowledge by studying, reading, learning. This is knowledge. People are, I do believe some people are born smarter than others, but I do believe everybody can achieve knowledge. Some people have to work harder than others. Everybody has different skills. Some people are more athletic. Some people are natural actors, and some people are naturally more inclined to intelligence. Okay, it's just the way we are. But you get your knowledge by reading, studying. That's how you develop knowledge. But wisdom comes from experience. Wisdom comes from trial and error, putting into practice and what you've learned and what doesn't work. I believe that being wise, we can achieve knowledge. Well, you can achieve knowledge and not be wise. Like, think about this. The Matrix. You plug into the Matrix and you download information in your head. You're developing knowledge. But if you don't have the wisdom to know how to apply such knowledge, then what good is the knowledge? You understand? So you can be wise and not have a lot of knowledge. You can know a lot of things. You can be like my grandfather. My grandfather was a super wise man. I want to say he was knowledgeable from life, but not from books. But he knew a lot of things. We're losing that disconnect nowadays. We're losing that disconnect. I was very fortunate that I grew up with my grandparents and I heard the stories and I had them around, but not many people have that contact. My kids, poor kids, they don't have contact with their grandparents. And this is one of the main reasons why I can't wait to go back to America, because grandma here will be much more active in my children's lives than my in-laws. My in-laws live in the same city here, and they're too busy. I don't know. I don't want to be hard at anybody, but my kids don't have grandparents around really. And when grandma here wants to help, they don't know what they're doing. They kind of ruin everything that I put into practice. What does my mom say? Wisdom all day long. To fear God is the beginning of wisdom. The Bible is my roadmap. That's right. That's Proverbs 1:7, I believe. Go back to my Bible. I love my Bible. I think it's Proverbs 1:7. That verse that my mom is quoting. Fear the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Proverbs. One of the biggest books in the Bible. I think the biggest book is Psalms. Hold on. I just passed Proverbs, went to Psalms. Proverbs 10. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see if my memory serves me correctly. Yeah, it's good to memorize verses. It is. Proverbs 1:7. I was correct. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Yeah, baby. I love it. What does she say here? I met people with so little school and had more wisdom than college professors. Yeah, I know. And nowadays schooling, is indoctrinating. Like, I think it's good for kids like my children's age, like Derek's age and stuff, because interacting with other kids, but when they get older, it's far more important. Like I'm not a big advocate of college. I didn't go to college. Yeah. Dr. Walter is chiming in WhatsApp. He says wisdom. I'm not a big advocate of college. I went to college when I came to Brazil, but in America I started, but I didn't finish. But I do believe I'm a person that has some wisdom for my age. I've kind of experienced. I've lived around 3 states, 2 countries, 3 states, and gosh, I don't know how many cities I've lived in my life. Hey, Claudio Banks, sorry, I'm focused on YouTube here. Come and join me on YouTube. I'm talking Instagram. Yeah, so I learned a lot more traveling, going around, interacting with people, working than I did in school. When I came to Brazil, I only went to college just because here in Brazil they put higher education, a degree and diploma in much more like important status. Like it's much more important to have than like what you're able to provide. I remember one of the schools I worked at, I had a lot better outcome in producing English speakers, but some other teachers were earning more money than I was, and I wasn't understanding what was going on. And I found out because they were certified, they were college graduated. I'm like, oh, really? So I went after my degree, and now I'm graduated in letters, English, teaching the English language. And it's interesting, I didn't think I was going to get a lot out of that college course because I had experience already, but I did get I did actually get quite a bit, and I helped people too, which was good. Yeah. So Walter, he says the same thing as I said about wisdom, because you can have a lot of knowledge, but wisdom helps you make the best choices. Like wisdom helps you apply the knowledge. Wisdom, it helps you with wisdom, what to do and when to do it and when not to do it, when to speak, when not to speak, things like that. So wisdom is much more important. Okay, what does it say here? Say here, I have met people. So yeah, okay, we saw that comment. Also, to love God is to hate evil. Yes, but without a regenerated heart, we're at enmity with God. That's what the Bible says. We're rebels and enemies of God. But like I said, that's a whole other theological debate. So yeah, I want to leave this on a positive note, right? Time stops for no one. Old miser time. Like I started my stream talking about, it is our most valuable commodity other than our soul, because our soul belongs to God. But you're already cut off from him. And if you don't accept his son, you're already condemned. Like the Bible says, I read John chapter 3. But for everybody else, and like I said, I don't want to make this a theological thing as much as I love to talk about theology. Time is linear. It goes in one direction. So money comes, money goes. Friends come, friends go. Opportunities come, opportunities go. Students come, students go. Your health comes, your health goes. It comes back, it goes away. Let's try to prevent that from happening. Let's stay healthy. The only thing that is in one direction is time. Time is the only thing that doesn't stop. So how are you using your time? Are you using it effectively? Are you using it efficiently? Are you using it productively? I admit, I probably waste more time than I should, but I try to make the best use of my time that I can. I balance many things, whether it be work, whether it be my online endeavors with YouTube and Instagram, whether it be my family. And I apologize to my wife. Sometimes I feel like I don't give them enough time. One of the best things about working at home is sometimes I can take a break and I spend time with my kids. I lay on the floor with my children. I go in the backyard. I run with them. My daughter, she's into Superman right now. I wonder why. Daddy likes Superman. She tells me, Daddy, quiero Superman. Quiero Superman. I put the Superman theme song. I put the bandana on her neck like a cape. I swear I'm going to record it one day. I tried to record it. I think I got a little bit, but she runs around. Shh, 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 shh. It's so funny. She's trying to fly. Oh, Manuel, teachers come, teachers go. But buddy, I'm still here, man. You can study with me online if you want. Instagram, YouTube. I'm here, man. I'm here. Bruno's coming on. Bruno who? Oh, I was about to sign off, but I have a guest. He has an avatar. Bruno, can you turn on your camera? Because I don't know which Bruno you are. Okay, he's waving his hand. All right, let me add him on. But don't do anything crazy. I'll cut you off. Bruno. Which Bruno is this? Oh, my goodness. That's wonderful. So here come Here come the trolls. I'll just blur that out. That was awesome, wasn't it? What a way to end the stream. I guess I was gonna get the trolls eventually. Well, anyways, so opportunities come, opportunities go. Trolls come, trolls go, and that's the way the internet works. I love how people are very courageous behind a keyboard and a screen. Those are the weak men that won't make it through the hard times. Look, times are tough. Times will get tougher. It's always darker before the dawn. Never give up hope. Never give up the fight. When things get hard, you just buckle down and you fight back harder. It's not how many times you get knocked down, but as many times as you get up. All right? And with that last troll that I had, that was funny, we'll call it a night. I'm Mr. Finn, and I'll catch you later. Bam!
Yeah, baby, yeah.